Hey guys, AsePlayer here, and welcome back to another Stick War 3 video. We're doing COD in 4K, we got Xerces, we got Recknoll, and he's rocking the Glacial, while Xerces is actually going for no mythics, which is a very bold strategy, but we'll see if it pays off. Both sides definitely interested in getting that eco going. Xerces opting for 3 miners, where Recknoll's actually opting for a little bit of a cheeky Spiriton start. And more mana crystal on top of that. I can only assume he's interested in the Spiriton spawn with the Spiriton start. And yep, there he goes being upgraded. And Xerces doesn't care. He's just going more miners, you know. You could never have enough miners until you do. But that won't happen for a while. He's rocking a Castle Archer upgrade as well. He's prepared to defend his boys. And the Ghost Tower receiving a new change where he only goes after the statue, so he's not really an eco harasser anymore. Whoa, spooky sound effects. What is going on? I don't know, but a Spiriton's coming in, and Xerces does not need to fear it, as there he goes, walking right past the miners, causing a little bit of a distraction, but other than that, he's just kind of slowly chipping away at the statue, and that'll eventually get to Xerces if he just lets it happen about 1,000,000 times, but by then he should have something of value to at least kill a Spiriton or two. Regardless, Recknoll's just kind of interested in making more miners now that he is a little bit down bad, because Xerces has just been mining the entire time, and he's just been making Spiritons. So he's rocking in with 3 Spiritons. This is a push that definitely needs to happen, so Xerces stops making money for a bit. That way, he will be able to catch up. But he's actually just going to leave and summon a lightning spell that's just going to continue to wreck the statue. And it looks like he's just doing chip damage, and that might be the whole play. He might be able to win with that alone. But we'll see about that. He is rocking the 20 population to Xerces 13 though, so he's definitely doing pretty well for himself, but Xerces does have quite a flourishing economy and can't really be touched right now. I mean, it can be, and Recknoll's going to try and prove it actually, but it is a scary decision. Xerces is just going to be chilling though, and Recknoll doesn't want to catch the smoke. He's definitely scared of what those Castle Archers can do. They are huge, heavy destroyers, and he could always upgrade to like tier 2 and 3, and that could be an even bigger issue. But Recknoll, he's just going to keep going for Spiritons. That's kind of his end game. He's got Spiritons and Archidons with the slow, and Xerces, I don't really know what his end game is. I guess Giants and Eclipsers and like Merrics too. Kind of a lot to go for at the same time, but there he goes, using 4 Qs at the same time. That is a very good army right there. He's just going to be cranking 90s, Morty. Anyway, we'll get away from that Wrath of Thor. I'm sure we'll see it about 1,000,000 times. Or is that Zeus? I don't know. Either way, Recknoll, he's interested in Tower Spawn 3 finally. It's going to be spawning, I believe, just a really beefy Spiriton. Or is it like 3 Spiritons now? That'd be kind of cool. Here comes the first giant of the game, though. No monstrosity quite yet, but it's no longer necessary for a separate giant queue. And here comes Recknoll in with the attack. Projectile barrier gonna render those Archidons temporarily useless, while the giant is just gonna kind of keep stunning guys. But Recknoll's gonna run right past him, and actually just kind of run around in place. Not quite sure what he's accomplishing with that. Dropping down the heavy wisp to keep the Spiritons flourishing. And Xerces now trying his darndest to block shots, but some of the archers are opting to shoot the giant's head, and that's proving a little problematic. Here comes another Stormcloud, because why not? Another statue damage. Honestly, not the worst thing in the world. And Recknoll's also rocking the Vault of Prudence, but here he is not keeping the gold above 1,000, so I guess that was probably only for the starter gold, but that's a pretty hefty price to pay, a whole slot. Especially with separate unit queues now, it kind of seems like Vault of Prudence is not that great. But anyway, Recknoll's still at double the population, man, but most of those are just miners. I wonder if... Oh, here comes an attack, actually. We'll talk about that later. The projectile barrier is proving to be quite well endowed at making Recknoll's Archidons completely useless, and Recknoll always has to bail because by the time the Spearton's killed, the projectile barrier wears off, but it's too little too late. And it looks like he's going to be attempting to send them to heal or something like that. He does only have the ability to heal heavy units, so those Archidons, they will not be graced with the heal. And that'll be a little tough for him, but we'll see. He's just cranking out Speartons, doing everything he can, while Xerces is just using all his unit queues and just building a big giant army. Honestly, Recknoll should just kind of be going right now, I would say. Him letting Xerces build up like this is kind of just going to be bigger issues for him, because the more giants he has, the more that he can do stun tactics. And here comes the Eclipser actually dying. It looks like Xerces didn't want to use the projectile barrier, or he didn't have the mana crystal for it. Either way, that's going to be a little bit of a blow for him. And here we're seeing the power of 2 giants just kind of stun locking these Speartons pretty hard. But Recknoll coming in hot, taking names, kicking ass. The monstrosity comes in just in time to save that giant, maybe, for a couple of seconds. But he is just going to have to die for the greater good of Xerces surviving. And I don't think it's going too hot, man. Why are you letting up on the attack? Why keep attacking? The heck? Recknoll backs off for some reason. I'm not quite sure. He's just kind of allowing Xerces to exist again. He could have at least just went for that other giant and really put a stop to Xerces' plans. But instead, he's opting to back out and let Xerces make more giants and get his monstrosity upgrades going. That's definitely going to be a costly decision, but he was also just running out of Speartons, so it's kind of hard to, you know, judge that. Here comes the 3 musketeers. Is that 4 actually? Wow. Here comes the Merrick projectile barrier, sort of doing wonders. Some of the archers are shooting over. And then here comes the secondary projectile barrier, once again stopping these archers from doing anything. And it's really nasty, man. I can't believe that lasted that long. But hey, at least he's gonna get a pick on the Merrick. That was definitely a great call. And he's gonna get out of there right before the castle archers tear him a new one. He is stacking up Speartons again, though, Recknoll. He is preparing it for the best. I would say might want to consider those miners in an all-out push, but the more giants he makes, the less likely this becomes a good idea. Recknoll knows that the projectile barrier is just going to be the bane of his existence, and it's going to be really annoying to try and deal with. But he's certainly going to try. He's just kind of waiting for the tower spawns to come in. I would do things a little differently. I think you have so many Speartons that you should attack before the tower appears. And then once the projectile barrier shenanigans wear off, then your ghost boys come in as reinforcements. That's probably a lot more desirable than just getting constantly wombo comboed like this every single time. It's definitely not what he wants to have going on. But also, for some reason, he kind of hard commits to the attack, despite the projectile barrier stuff going on. Just send the Speartons on their way. You know, they don't have to actually engage in the fight until, like, absolutely necessary. Just kind of seems like Recknoll's throwing bodies at the giants, and the giants are doing what's kind of expected, which is killing the things. So we'll speed up a bit, because Recknoll's going to be waiting once again for this ghost tower, and just kind of allowing Xerces to do his giant mass, which will directly counter whatever he's got going, because of projectile barrier and Merricks, man. Now, here comes the attack. He is not sending anyone else. He is leading in with a mass heal, or not a mass heal, but a heavy healing wisp, rather. And lightning, of course. Not really getting a whole lot done, but there goes the projectile barrier. At least one of Xerces' big things is countered. And now Recknoll just has 13,000 gold to his name and no way to spend it. He was definitely not looking to drag this out to the late game, and yet here we are. And this is definitely when you should be attacking, man. The projectile barrier is on a massive cooldown. This is like the time to be attacking. And yet Recknoll just waits. It's so interesting. Definitely, I just don't see how letting your opponent build the giants is going to be good news for you. But I don't know, man. I've been proven wrong before. Now it's time to attack. Now that the projectile barrier has had its time to reset completely. Definitely a bold strategy, and we'll see if it pays off. It looks like a lot of damage is being done, though. It looks like Xerces is holding off on the projectile barrier until it's the right time, perhaps? I don't know. But he has lost 2 giants, and he's just going to eat it and keep the projectile barrier. Now, that's a scary situation to be in. He's definitely saving it for something. Recknoll going to send his wounded boys back to heal for a bit. They're probably not going to heal that much in the grand scheme of things unless he truly keeps them back in there, but the controls make it very hard to do that, because here they are, not garrisoning. And it looks like Xerces has had enough of it. He's on the offensive now, using the projectile barrier just to generate space while he takes the tower, and at least puts a temporary stop to the triple shenanigans going on. And now he has the potential to use his Merrick cycling to block a majority of the Archidon shots. And he's just moving up, causing the Archidons to just get a little distracted and not go after the Giants, while all the Spiritans just proceed to get wrecked. So Recknoll definitely allowed his enemy too much space to come back. I don't see how he gets out of this, to be quite honest. That is a lot of damage. Maybe that is enough. I'm surprised Xerces isn't just going for it, man. I mean, he does have enough money to just build more giants, though, so he's probably just kind of interested in waiting if he can. But Recknoll on the offensive here, just kind of going ham, losing all his Spiritans to the massive giants. But hey, there's a giant kill. The tower is back, but honestly, Recknoll's probably kind of pissing his pants a bit right now. I think he sees where this is going. Xerces is just gonna be better and better, and he's been like stagnating for the past probably 10 minutes, honestly. I'm gonna get a drink of water. This is a very long game, but very intense. Both sides doing drastically different strategies and different outcomes, of course. Here comes the preemptive lightning strike doing something or other. And here comes the projectile barrier of pain and suffering. Recknoll definitely can't contest that. Well played. Yep, pressing that button. Very, very tough stuff. It did take a little bit of restraint for him to not press it that one time, though, I will say. And he generated some good stuff with that. Here comes the Giants, dealing massive Spiritan damage. I mean, just look at that, man. 57 hits a pop. That's ridiculous. Recknoll wrecking America, at least. That's pretty cool. And he should be able to just kind of kite these giants into oblivion. But the projectile barrier comets, so he needs to be careful. And honestly, I don't know, man. Just building more archers to get projectile barriered upon, probably not the best idea. But he's kind of running out of, like, plans of action. All because he didn't put away the opponent in the early game. And now, Xerces pretty much has a foothold on this entire game. He can just make giants for days. And Recknoll, with his 34,000 gold, can only just keep doing what he's been doing. One last hurrah. The projectile barrier definitely going to hurt the most here. But hey, at least this giant's just kind of catching all the smoke. I don't know why he fears that giant. Honestly, just kind of, you got to go for it, my man. There you go. And he's got to go for it. Just absolutely lay waste to all of these guys. And I don't know, man. No castle archers is kind of an interesting decision, too. Because they do bonus heavy damage. So they might be more preferable than the real Archidons. Or at least one of them. You could have one castle archer laying waste to the opponent. And damn, Xerces' giants are just all catching the smoke. I think he definitely was a little in over his head. That is a crazy image, man. A mass genocide of giants. And now Xerces is left with 2 giants still. It's honestly not terrible. Recknoll thinks it's all but over, but I mean, they're both very wealthy, so we'll see how this goes. Xerces already just prepared to deal massive Castle Archidon damage, and here comes Recknoll. Oh, Xerces holding on to his projectile barrier. That giant not getting picked off is so unfortunate for Recknoll, and he just lost like 5 Archidons to the sheer amount of castle archers, and now Recknoll just lost whatever tempo he just had. That was devastating. Especially because Xerces has the multiple Qs. I mean, so does Recknoll, but Xerces, he's got 3 Qs, bro. And more expensive units to boot. I was struggling to find the pause button there because I was in the ashes. So yeah, wow. That's just a really unfortunate situation for Recknoll. These guys both had like 1 shot and kind of blew it, but then they kind of blew it right back. And these guys have just kind of been back and forth. So killing that giant, honestly, not even the correct play, because Xerces wants that giant dead. He like wants the ability to make 1 more giant. Obviously kind of hard to avoid not killing the thing, but there's a little bit that could be done. Not a whole lot though. Here comes a whole bunch of Spiritans. I mean, once again, I don't know why you're having the giants actually fight the Spiritans. I think they should just have the sole purpose of trying to block the Castle Archidon shots, and you just kind of keep moving back a bit and just dealing more massive damage without actually just letting your boys be splashed upon. Because now, your boy's dead. And the giants come. There's no way the sheer amount of Archidons is going to be able to take on the giants, especially with the statue as low as it is. This is all but over, and unfortunately, Recknoll kind of let his opponent build back. He was doing so well in the beginning, though, and Xerces had a very, very good comeback. He was careful not to, you know, stagnate, and always just kept Recknoll on his toes. Recknoll trying to lead the giants astray, but it's all for naught. And Xerces picks up the victory. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.